Welcome, fellow developers, to the only YouTube channel dedicated to learning the Outsystems platform. All right, and welcome back, Outsystems developers. Today we are going to do another dive into the SQL widget. We are going to pass a parameter to the widget, and we're going to get some data out of the database table with that widget. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to add a screen. We're going to call it SQL to test. And in this screen, we don't have much there. That's okay. That we don't need much stuff going on. First thing, we are going to fetch some data. We are going to grab this widget, and we are going to be pulling back student genders, students by gender. Okay, so that's what we call that SQL query. And here we are going to get the students table. Select student dot last and first name from the student table, students table, where student students dot gender equals something. So we need to add a parameter here. Our parameter is going to be we're going to call this requested gender, and it's going to be text. All right, so that is what is being requested. So here we want to grab that, and there's several ways we can do this. The first one is we just grab this and we drag and drop it. That's one way. Another way is by hitting your @ if you hit your @ key, if you have more than one, it's going to give you a list of your possible parameter variables. If you only got one, well, it's going to populate it for you from you. So we want to select the last and first name from the students where there's some gender. All right. Now, I know this is not going to work, and I'll show you why in a moment. When we test it, it says, well, you need a structure. So we need some kind of an output structure, right? So we're going to call that, we created one called student by gender, and we added a first name and a last name. But you know what? We're going to blow that away. We don't like that. I don't like that. We're going to create a brand new one. And this one is going to be, again, we're going to call it student by gender. But rather than having two attributes, it's only going to have one attribute. And that is going to be student last first name. Okay, and we don't want it to be that kind of a data type. We actually just want it to be a text. So we select text. Now we test. I created it, but I didn't assign it. So I need to drag that here, put it right there. Okay. Now we test, and it's going to fail, but that's all right. It says no return rows. Why? Because, well, we haven't tested it here. So let's say that we want to bring back all the males, or those people that are categorized as male, and boom, there we go. Brings last name, first name. What about females? We'll test by doing female. Boom, so it works. Okay, so we can say that our query is working. So we're going to click the done. Now we have this, but we need to assign it to an outbound variable. So we'll bring our assignment statement, and we are going to take our outbound variable, which if you remember, it's right there, our outbound variable, and we're going to assign it to wah, wah, wah. Oh, we need a list. Why don't we have a list here? If you've seen my previous video, you know the reason why. This variable right here needs to be a list. So we come over here. Whoa, what happened there? We come over here and we select the student by gender list. And now when we go there, there is the list to assign. And oh, look, we still have an error because we don't know, where this is getting that value. How do we fix that? Well, we have, we need a gender, right? A requested gender. So at this point, our application would not work because we're not passing a gender into the SQL statements. So we can fix that by bringing a container, and we are going to take where is the, no, we don't want a list, we want an input. Okay, ooh, that's way too big. We want an input, and we want that input to have a variable, and that variable is gender variable. And here, if we double click on this, it brings us back to this, and we are going to change that to gender variable. Okay, so now this variable is getting passed into this data action, which is getting passed as the requested gender, right? I mean, we can all see that, right? Here's this variable. It's the same as that. And it's getting the results from this variable, right? So it's getting passed to that. So this, of course, needs to be male or female. And we get an output in the form of a list, which is just what we need right there. Perfect. We almost have everything that we need. The next thing that we need is a table to show our output. So for the source, we're going to select data action 1. All right, and I am just gonna go and let's say, should be able to, well, why isn't it showing? There we go. So what I did is I brought this value, right, this structure here, and placed it there to see what I'm actually passing. So, all right, so we're almost there. Just wanting to see what it's seeing. In theory, we should, at this point, be able to see this if we put the right value in this box, right? So, of course, this text box is it's the gender, right? There we go, gender. But I have to do something with it. I need to somehow make this fire this action, right? So one way that we can do this is I can come to here, and on the change event, I'm going to create a new client action. And in that client action, I am going to bring a refresh of this data action. Okay. So now we will compile that and see what happens. And we'll open it in the browser. And what do we get? We get a the box, but we don't get anything else. So I'm missing something, am I not? Okay, so now I'm not sure that I connected this correctly, and I'm having just the biggest problems. Here we go. Delete. There we go. And this is another way that you can do it. Just drag it over here, and that should create the table. Apparently, I had not linked it correctly. So let's compile. We'll look at it again and see what happens. And I should get, there's the table, there's the box. So if we put male, it brings back all the males. If we do female, it brings back the female. So this is one way that you can bring back data without using a button. You just do it on change, and then on that change event, you refresh the data action. So remember, we created this server action right here, or client action, that does a refresh of this. And it does it every time that you make a change to this box. So there, that change event, we make our change here. If we make it a male, it's going to refresh this, bring back the males. If we make it a female, it's going to come back, bring back female. And if we don't put, something that is correct in there, it's just going to bring back a blank. Alrighty, that took a little bit longer than I normally take, but there you go. That is your tutorial for this week. And remember, if you are finding use in these tutorials, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up button and subscribe, and click on that bell. All of that stuff allows other people to find out about these tutorials, and that helps me grow this channel a little bit. All right, guys and ladies, see you all next week. Bye. Thank you for viewing this video, and if this video has been of use to you, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you right here again in Learning Outsystems.